I really like this episode because it showed that the holidays can be about spending quality time with your family and not just about the gifts and the materialistic things.
I'm not like that at... Oh, no! Not my good china!
What do you care?
If it wasn't for Tony, oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning back in. I'm back with another video, another Proud Family Analysis video. And of course, before the year is over, I had to do the Kwanzaa episode of the Proud Family. I just wanted to say happy holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a great one. And happy Kwanzaa for everybody that celebrates that. Speaking of Kwanzaa, this episode of the Proud Family, the 7 Days of Kwanzaa, was a pivotal one. It was a major one. And did you know, when I looked it up, it said that this episode of the Proud Family was one of the first Disney shows, or the first Disney show, live action or animated, to even talk about or celebrate or give acknowledgement to Kwanzaa.
I've always wanted to celebrate Kwanzaa.
And for those that really don't know about Kwanzaa, it's more of a Pan-African, African-American cultural celebration of African culture, heritage, and unity. And it was started in the 60s. Now, of course, as most of us know, it's not as celebrated or advertised as Christmas per se, but it is a cultural celebration that many participate in. It starts the day after Christmas and it ends the first day of the new year.
Habari!
Growing up, this honestly was one of the first times I heard about Kwanzaa, besides when I went to, like, you know, when I was in daycare and like kindergarten, first grade. We used to do, during the holidays, we used to do like Christmas, but then we used to do Kwanzaa, then we used to do Hanukkah. Like, we had the different things because that all happens around this time, right? And this is one of the first times seeing it on TV, whether it was animation or not, where I learned about it. You got to see the Kinara, where they had like the black, red, and green candles, and each of the 7 days represented a different principle.
Umoja, unity!
Now, the Proud Family did have its issues, as I talked about many times, but it was very educational and progressive when it wanted to be. For the sake of this review, I'm only going to go over key moments in the episode that help get the main message across. So we begin the episode with the Proud Family shopping late at night for the holidays. And of course, this is where everybody's out shopping, and Penny is nagging her parents about a phone.
Penny, you're not getting a cell phone for Christmas. I wish you would stop asking. Daddy, why can't I have a cell phone?
It just starts out the whole episode where everything around the holidays, especially in American culture, with the consumerism around Christmas, and with little kids and teenagers, it's about, Mommy, Daddy, I want this, I want this, I want that. It's that whole message. That's the whole thing in the beginning. Everybody learns something in the end, which I'm gonna get to. As they continue shopping, they see a homeless family holding up a sign, which Oscar, being as selfish as he is, ignores them until Trudy tells him to give them some money.
You have a blessed day, sir. Oscar, give those people a couple of dollars.
To make a longer story short, Oscar reluctantly agrees to give them the money, but they disappear. Him and Penny go down to the local homeless shelter, find them, and they start talking to them. We know them as Joseph, Margaret, and Stephanie. Joseph and Margaret, the parents. Stephanie is the daughter, around Penny's age.
Mr. Proud, we appreciate your generosity.
Well, I'm glad somebody does.
Penny, being as, you know, caring as she is, invites him over for Christmas dinner, which Oscar is like,
Hey, baby, I'm sure these nice people already have their dinner plans. Now we do.
They happily accept the invitation, and we later transition to Christmas morning.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Penny at first is upset because she doesn't think she got her cell phone.
Oh, goody, a phone book, so I can write down all the numbers I can't call.
But then she later realizes that they tricked her.
A cell phone? I don't believe it. Thank you, Mom and Dad. This is the best Christmas ever.
Trudy gives Oscar a fancy Wizard Kelly watch, to Oscar's surprise, because they weren't supposed to give each other gifts, because they said, oh, this is only for the kids. But Trudy, being as caring as she is, still gave Oscar something. Oscar doesn't have nothing for her.
I just wanted you to, you know, bling bling like the Wiz, y'all. So, what did you get me?
Meanwhile, the homeless family that Penny invites finally comes over, and they come with a fruitcake, which is going to hold a lot of value. Oscar tries to steal the fruitcake to give to Trudy because he never had a gift for her, until Trudy is like, really?
It's Santa. A fruitcake?
You know what they say? Got fruit?
She gives it to Bobby. Bobby's about to eat it until he doesn't like the smell. He kicks it out the door, and it lands in their lawn. That's going to come up later.
Whoa. Okay.
The family comes, they sit down, they get integrated with everybody, and Penny comes down to give them their gifts, but they're kind of sitting there like,
It's just that we don't celebrate Christmas.
As a homeless family, all they had was each other, and that's what they were trying to show them. They eventually got it, but everything was about, oh, gifts, here's a gift, and it's like, we don't really celebrate that. And side note, am I the only one, like, over the years, as I've gotten older, I've become more excited about giving gifts to people and seeing their reaction as they open it, compared to like getting what I wanted. You know, when you're a little kid, I want a game, I want this, I want that, But as I've gotten older, I've become more excited buying stuff for people or my family and then seeing their reaction when they open it. How about y'all? Joseph helps Oscar build the jungle gym for BB and CC because he had trouble with it. He builds it like that, and he gives him some more wisdom and knowledge about what the holidays really mean.
That should do it. I used to be a construction worker. You have a nice home, nice things. But what does all that really mean? Are these material possessions really worth the stress? You have 3 beautiful kids. You should spend more time with them. You mean quit work and hang out in the streets all day like you do?
Now we have Trudy, Margaret, and Sugar Mama in the kitchen talking about how it feels to be homeless. Margaret tells them, I mean, as long as I have my family, that's all I need.
Yeah, I used to be just like you, bending over backwards to maintain my things. Girl, I got news for you. You don't own this home. It owns you.
Now this was another pivotal moment for me in the episode. Penny takes Stephanie to meet her friends, Sticky, Dejanay, and Zoe. And they're all talking, they're all getting to know her. Dejanay, of course, is being rude.
Ooh, those jeans are Bombay. Are they Guess? Or guess what? Dejanay. It's what a person has inside that counts. Yeah, inside your pockets.
But they start looking at her as weird because she says that, you know, her friends are her parents. She calls them by their first name. And a lot of them are like, oh, you don't got no friends? Oh, your parents are your best friend, and da-da-da-da.
Wow, you must get tired of spending all your time with your parents. Nope.
And Sticky, here's what I say. When I did the video about Sticky, Sticky can be nasty sometimes too.
I was feeling her for a minute, but your girl is straight up loony. Let's raise up, y'all. We'll catch you later, when she's not around.
Everybody doesn't always assimilate to those social expectations, especially as a teenager, you know, going out and making friends and doing this and doing that. And with that, they found Stephanie so weird and, get away from me. And I'm like, it reminded me of like being in middle school and high school where you had those kids that did their own thing. And I would be one of the ones to like really, you know, talk to them every once in a while. Sometimes you could tell they didn't really want to be bothered. They were in their own little world. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody is not like a social butterfly. Everybody doesn't like to be in the mix. Some people like they do their own thing, read their books, go about their business. There's nothing wrong with that. But Sticky and Dejanay and Zoe were like trying to ostracize her and make her feel like, oh, okay, Penny, have fun with her. You know, it was like, that's the way I was like, But that's realistic because I've experienced seeing that in middle school and even high school where you had those odd kids out, but they still did their own thing regardless of what anybody had to say about them.
I'll stay here and do some reading. Penny, why don't you lose beloved?
Is it me or did they model Stephanie's look after Lauryn Hill? Every time I watch this episode, I feel like they modeled her look after Lauryn Hill, especially her album cover. Now we on to the next day, and the homeless family pops up again at the house, and Oscar's like, what are y'all doing here? Da, da, da. And they tell him about Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa? It's a cultural holiday based on African principles.
As everyone else in the family becomes interested in it and wanted to learn about it, Oscar, of course, is being selfish and rude.
I think celebrating Kwanzaa is a great idea.
Why don't y'all show me some umoja and leave my house? Unified.
Oscar.
Then after this, we get a montage of the Proud family and Joseph, Margaret, and Stephanie really integrating with each other and slowly adapting to the Kwanzaa traditions.
To my mother for not disowning me, even when I acted like a spoiled brat. Kujichagulia. Self-determination. Ujima.
Way too short. We're building a future we can hug.
Nia. Purpose.
Even Oscar.
Faith.
And over the course of this montage, we see them really unite as a family, celebrate the Kwanzaa traditions, whether it's the clothes or the food, you know, having the feast. And each day they lit the Kinara, celebrating the different principles of each of the 7 days. And you could tell it brought them closer together than, you know, Christmas and giving gifts ever did. When you really think about it, Christmas, especially in America, you know, from my point of view, it's all about the consumerism of it all.
We got tired of buying into corporate America's end of the year profit scam.
Over the years, I know it's not just me because I've seen a lot of people say this, the Christmas holiday spirit is not really there like it used to be, like, you know, in the early 2000s, even the early 2010s. I felt like everything is all about, like, okay, buying stuff and getting this, and it's like, okay, as it gets closer to Christmas, it's, okay, who's on your list? Who you want to get stuff for? Checking off your list. And then it's the whole pressure of getting stuff that you think people will like.
Come on, Trudy, let's leave something in the stores for other people to buy.
Some people really don't care about it. Some people don't celebrate it. But for the people that do, it's all about, you know, getting a gift. Or to some people, it's still about, oh, I hope I get this for Christmas, or telling your parents, or telling such and such, telling your spouse, telling your boyfriend, girlfriend this, hoping they get it for you, when it's really about just spending time with your family. The holidays is a chance for those that are fortunate enough to have a great family to spend time with them. Joseph, Margaret, and Stephanie, like I said, they were homeless. They only had each other. Gifts weren't important. Money wasn't important. The materialistic things weren't important. The most important part was that they were together.
Umoja stands for unity in the family and community.
And that's a part of the holidays that a lot of people miss. They just want the gifts and this and that and catching the sale and all this. But it's more than that. Because I've worked retail before where those last few days before Christmas, you see it's like a rush and everybody's all around and everybody trying to get this and trying to get that.
Oh my God.
You could tell, like, the last minute shopping, people have this pressure to get things. And it's just like, wow, the consumerism in America when it comes to Christmas is outrageous. If you think about it, you shouldn't have to wait until somebody's birthday or the holidays at the end of the year to show appreciation to the people you love, whether it's your family, your spouse, you know, your friends. You should show them appreciation any chance you get. As the family finally leaves on the 7th day, you can see that everybody has had a change of heart, especially Oscar, who was the most rude and obnoxious to them in the beginning. He's even wearing the traditional clothes now, which really goes to show how integrated he's became in the culture of celebrating Kwanzaa.
But every day should be a celebration.
That's what I say. Celebrate.
And before Joseph gets in the cab to leave, he leaves Oscar with one last message.
A man who has faith has everything. Oscar, Trudy, Penny, take care of you.
As they leave, Felix, the next door neighbor, La Cienaga's father, comes to Oscar telling him about he has an opportunity for a construction job. Oscar, realizing that Joseph was great at construction because he helped him with the jungle gym for BBCC earlier, right? He later goes down to the homeless shelter looking for Joseph to give him the job. But when he gets to the homeless shelter, nobody seems to know who he's talking about until he catches the attention of a white family with the same names who also happen to be homeless.
Stephanie, and you're Joseph and your wife is Margaret.
How did you know?
It's not important.
We soon come to realize that Joseph, Margaret, and Stephanie were angels in disguise representing this real homeless family who just happened to be white. Not that that was really brought up in this episode, but they did that for a reason. Why do you think for this episode they decided to have a black family as angels in disguise for a white family who was really homeless in this episode? Like, what do you think they were trying to convey with that? And before they leave, Oscar tries to drop a Kwanzaa term to the father to really make sure it's not the family they met in the beginning. And he realizes, yeah, this is a completely different family.
Abarigani?
What? Oh, assalamu alaikum.
Never mind. Why would somebody impersonate a homeless family?
I don't know. Maybe they came to give us a little imani.
As the proud family returns home, they realize that in their front yard, where Bobby first threw the fruitcake out in the beginning, grew a great expansive fruit tree that went all the way up into the high heavens, where we see the original Stephanie, Margaret, and Joseph dressed in their traditional African attire, which is sometimes worn during Kwanzaa, and they look down and smile, and they walk off into the clouds, disappearing as the angels they were.
That fruit cake I threw out the window turned into a fruit tree.
So from this, we see that they were really angels in disguise, and they were a blessing to the Proud family, really trying to get them to expand their mindset about the holidays and what does it really mean. Sometimes it's also about being selfless, giving back to the less fortunate. It's not about being greedy, expecting to receive something all the time. Sometimes it's about giving back in more ways than one. With that, I really enjoyed this episode. This is one of those feel good, comforting episodes that was like really, during the holidays, I always try to watch it. Certain shows and movies I always try to watch. This episode is one of them, and I really enjoyed it. What did y'all take away from the episode? What was the message you think they were trying to portray about the holidays? And for a more personal question, as you get older, how do you feel differently about the holidays from when you were like little kids? Christmas, if you celebrate that. Kwanzaa, if you celebrate that. Hanukkah, if you celebrate that. Like, how do you feel differently about the holidays and what it really means? Have a great holiday season. I hope you had a great Christmas if you celebrated. I hope you have a great Kwanzaa if you celebrated Hanukkah. And 2024, I hope you have a great new year and make this one your best year yet. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.